So guys, EA have given us a new Showdown SBC, and it is probably the most significant one since the World Cup final, I'd probably say, in terms of whatever happens in this game could very much likely decide the outcome for the Premier League title. Not so much if it's a draw. I think if that happens, I think either team is very capable of winning the Premier League. But personally, for me, if Arsenal win, I do think Arsenal will go on and then win the title. And if City win, I do think City will then go on and win the title. So it's going to be a very interesting game. And for that, they've given us a Gundogan and Ben White Showdown SBC. I don't think there's any weak foot or skill move upgrades for these. I think it's purely just ratings. So if it's a draw, both cards will go to a 91 rated. And if it's a win, the cards would go up to a 92 rated, getting that +2. And I'm glad with the players that they've chosen here, because they're not going to get Team of the Season cards. You could argue Ben White maybe deserves a mention for Team of the Season, but ultimately, I don't think either of them were in the voting for Team of the Season. I don't think they'll get any sort of Team of the Season moments, SBC. I might be wrong, but I highly doubt that. So I'm glad with the players that they've chosen. In terms of what they require, I think Ben White at an 86 and an 87... I think this card, to get your value for money, Arsenal need to win this game. The only problem is Arsenal go into this game not in the best of form. Their past 3 games they've drawn. 2 of those were away games to Liverpool and West Ham, but ultimately they were much lower opposition compared to what Arsenal have been, compared to where Arsenal are currently at the moment. Even Liverpool are still quite low down when they were playing them. And they were winning both those games away to Liverpool and West Ham, and they conceded those leads, and they both finished as draws. And then again, you look at Southampton on Friday. Yes, they brought it back late on to rescue a point, but they should never have been 3-1 down at home to bottom of the league in the first place. I don't care what anyone says, they shouldn't have been. And so, based on that recent form, you do have to take that into consideration, and you've got to think, what are the chances of this card even getting a +1? I'm not so sure. I do heavily fancy City to actually win this game. I think they just go into it, with that bounce of, they look good in the Champions League, they look good in the FA Cup. Listen, I know it was only against Sheffield United. I'm aware of that, but even so, it still carries that momentum into the into the Premier League home game against Arsenal. So I think to get value for money from this card, he needs to get the +2. He really, really does. Because once Team of the Season does come around, and in particular, once the Premier League Team of the Season comes around, you're going to find yourself with a lot better centre-backs to choose than this White card that won't even be that expensive. So I'm not so sure about that one. Gundogan, I think, looks the much better at the 2. It's an 84 of a Team of the Week, an 86 of a Team of the Week, 87 and 88 rated. City are the favourite of the 2. I just like this card a little bit more. I still think he needs the +2 to kind of for you to see good value for money in either of these cards. The team needs to win, as far as I'm concerned. I think Gundogan doesn't need it quite as much as Ben White, but I still think he does need it quite a bit, to be fair. I think once, again, Team of the Season does drop in this card, if City draw or City get beat, and this card is at, best case scenario, a 91 rated, I think you'll quickly find that once Team of the Season comes around, there's going to be better players that are going to get into their teams ahead of this Gundogan and ahead of this Ben White. So, I think they're okay. I think Gundogan is definitely the better one of the 2 of them to do. But you know what? I think on the whole, they're a little bit underwhelming. And once Team of the Season does come, these cards, believe it or not, they might seem quite good for a few days once they go up to a 92 rated if either team is able to win. But once the major league Team of the Seasons come round, the Premier League, the Serie A, Ligue 1, La Liga, Bundesliga, these become average. I'm telling you now, they literally will become average. So it's one of those, do you know what? If I was you guys, I'd avoid it. Unless you're a City fan or an Arsenal fan and you want to put together really cool City and Arsenal teams for Team of the Season, then by all means do it then. But if not, I'd save your fodder and just see what comes with Team of the Season. And I think you'd probably prefer that decision more. So that's my opinion from this, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.